Well, that was interesting.
And welcome to the Village of Westmont Committee of the Whole meeting for June 14th, 2012. I'd like to begin by asking our clerk to please take the roll call.
Mayor Ron?
Present.
The clerk's here. Trustee Emery is absent tonight. Trustee Fleming?
Here.
Trustee Klebanow?
Here.
Trustee Nero?
Here.
Trustee Scott?
Here.
Trustee Seneca?
Here.
Manager Searle?
Here.
Attorney Perez, the lovely Attorney Perez. Fire Chief Wise? Here. Police Chief Mulhern?
Here.
Code Enforcement Officer Sinasak? Here. Public Works Director May? Here. Village Planner Malik? I'm sorry, you're the Community Development Director. I'm going to slip every now and then.
Did you get Steve?
Steve May, yes.
Yeah, back from Texas with his suntan.
How'd they do?
Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
They did okay, but they didn't move on.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. First item, Village Board meetings. Board to consider approving the minutes of the Committee of the Whole meeting held May 31st and board meeting on June 4th. Any comments, corrections? Moving right along, open forum. We have several before us, and I'd like to start out by calling our new fire chief, David Weiss, to the podium.
Here, he needs to come up too. Thank you, Mayor, board members. Just want to take a couple quick minutes here and remind everybody about our public kids safety preparedness camp that we're having. Unfortunately, we had to cancel our June class this month because of a low registration, but July and August are filling up. And we got the dates here. I'll project those on the projector here. Our July date is July 23rd and 24th, and our August camp date is August 16th and 17th. The camp runs 9 to 3 each day, and it's held at Fire Department headquarters. And the contact information, you can call the Fire Department at 630-981-6402, or you can email Chris Hardy at westmont.il.gov. And just want to take this moment just to try to reach out to our residents and let them know that we still have openings for our July and August camps.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. What was our police chief's part of that presentation?
Yeah.
Moral support.
You want a camera time.
Now, the next thing is the Tom Mulhern on his request regarding cruising nights.
Thank you, Mayor. Squad Car Night is coming back to Westmont again, our annual event. It'll be a week from tonight, June 21st, at Burlington and Cass in the parking lot. This has been a successful event, not only for the police department, for the village as a whole. It tends to be one of the more well-attended events of the evening, or of the week, the month, really the month. Anyway, we right now have over 30 squad cars reserved to be there. We'll have a lot of activities for the kids, a lot of activities for the adults. It gives a chance for everyone to come out, visit police officers, not only from Westmont, from other local communities, see their police vehicles, and get a chance to learn a little bit more about law enforcement in a friendly and open setting. And at 9 o'clock, we have the Lights and Siren Parade, which is the second part for me being here tonight. Normally, we close down Cass Avenue from about 8:55 to about 9:05. The Lights and Siren Parade starts at Burlington and Cass, proceeds north to Naperville. We turn around and come back down and end at Burlington and Cass again. And I'm seeking the board's permission to allow for the closure of Cass Avenue from, say, 8:50 until probably 9:10. Give us time to make sure that we clear everything out, so then that way we can proceed with the parade. And hopefully everybody can, hopefully the weather's good. We've been very, very blessed with good weather in the past and good turnouts, and I'd ask that everybody watching to, as with any cruising nights in the French Market, come out, visit, see the downtown Westmont. In this case, come and see the police officers and stop and say hi.
Give everyone the date again.
It's a week from today, June 21st, and it'll start at 6 o'clock. Squad cars start getting there around 5:30, but it officially kicks off at 6 and ends at 9 with the parade.
Okay. Very good.
Thank you, and hope to see everybody there. Thanks.
We'll request that of Westmont Special Events.
Okay, that's good on the agenda anyway.
Yeah. The next item is Westmont Auto Mile Veteran Cruise presentation to the drawing winner. Do we have the winner here with us?
Actually, we were going to make that presentation on Monday.
On Monday, okay.
We just wanted to announce that fact.
Okay, so that presentation will take place on Monday. Moving right along, I just want to, we're going to be talking about the taste. I just want to give a common sense knowledge to everyone as to when Cruising Nights is in Westmont. It is always held the weekend after the 4th of July.
You mean the taste?
The taste.
Always the weekend after the 4th of July. So everybody get that on their calendars. And we're expecting perfect weather and a great turnout. So
It's actually 1 month from today. Exactly.
today.
Yeah, exactly.
A fine activity like many of the others. But we want to make sure everybody's aware of the date. Thank you. Moving right along, our village clerk.
Well, first of all, if you're watching this, turn it off and get out to Cruising Nights. It's a beautiful night in the Fresh Market, and it's a wonderful place to be. So, I believe we have someone here from our performance network. No? No one's here. Okay, well, we'll talk.
They have dress rehearsal tonight.
I know no, wait. I want to announce about
You didn't want to make any comments about it?
No.
There's nobody here for them. So the Progressive Village Performance Network will be performing this weekend at the Westmont High School, Friday, June 5th, and it's back to the 80s. Friday, June 15th at 7 o'clock p.m., Saturday, June 16th at 1 o'clock p.m., and again at 7 o'clock p.m., and Sunday, June 17th, 1 o'clock p.m. So tickets are available at the door, so go out and see this wonderful group perform. So
That's at the Westmont High School.
That's at the Westmont High School.
Okay.
So I wanted to announce that, and like I said, if you're watching this, get outside. It's beautiful out there. And other than that, I don't have anything tonight.
Okay,
Let the Fresh Market people talk.
yes, the French Market, do you want to talk about that now?
Yay.
Thank you, everyone. My name is Linda Little. I'm a volunteer with the Westmont Special Events Corporation, and we have the Fresh Market going on right now. I brought with me Brandon from Presto Pesto in Bolingbrook, Illinois, one of our major vendors, and he is passing around samples so that everyone can try it. This is a sample of what we're doing out there right now. We've got 17 vendors, and each and every one of them is doing a nice business for themselves. And so...
Wonderful. I never turn down food.
Okay.
Thank you.
And he still stays slim. It's amazing.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Oh, it's a
And he
great.
does never turn down food, and he does stay slim.
Just so you know, the Fresh Market is going to be open every Thursday
Thank you very much.
through Cruising Nights, except the weekend of the Taste.
Okay.
So,
And
and
how many of the vendors are actually
there's
selling?
17.
And what are they primarily selling? I assume it's fruits and vegetables.
Fruits and vegetables. We have a Happy Dog Barkery, bringing in dog treats, horse treats, cat treats. We also have the Olive Tap from Downers Grove that's bringing in bottled olive oil with flavors in them.
Oh, boy.
We have a cherry place from Michigan that has cherry pie filling, cherry salsa, cherry jams, apple butter, different flavors of fresh-made products. 2 farmers selling fresh produce, berries, fruits, corn, sweet corn, tomatoes, and all the vegetables, broccoli, cauliflower, herbs. They have herbs. We have a spice lady. Oh, got that one. We have 2 bakeries. La La Lee. Nope, wrong one. La Petite Sweet has their gluten-free products on sale, which is a rage right now. I was able to convince a lot of people to get off the train based on that alone. We have another young lady from LaGrange that has Italian bakery goods that they do. And we have a cheese, and we have a meat gentleman that has fresh fish and sausages, as well as beef and pork. So we've got a...
My wife Jill is there as we speak. I'm sure she
And I went before the meeting.
Oh,
I was already there.
very good.
I have a question. Somebody asked me, and I had no idea. Are they selling things now, such as corn and stuff? They say they're local grown, and somebody asked me, well, who's locally that has corn? And I'm going, talk to them.
Not local in this general area, but the state of Illinois. So they're going down just below Bloomington and bringing up fresh sweet corn.
So their corn is already there, and they're coming up.
It's already grown, and they're bringing it in. They're also bringing stuff later in the year. They're going to be bringing it from Plainfield, Plano, Sandwich area, and bringing in.
So as they come up
locally.
closer here, they're just going to keep bringing it up closer and closer to us.
Well, they're getting into the cycle of produce. Like right now, we don't have any sweet corn that's available in this market because we're 10 degrees cooler than, say, Bloomington.
Okay.
So Bloomington is producing right now where we will have some in about 3 weeks.
Okay.
So at that point, it'll be even closer to us.
Fantastic. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Excellent idea. I'm glad you worked so hard to make it a success.
We've had a lot of people putting a lot of time into it.
It's great. Thank you.
While we're up
Excellent
here,
pesto.
Can we talk about the taste real quick?
Absolutely.
We just wanted to let everybody know that the taste is coming. We have Kids-A-Palooza on July 12th, Thursday night. Wristbands are $15 a piece. Right now we have pre-sales going for Saturday and Sunday wristbands at Jewel on Ogden, the Park District, I believe here, and Oxford Bank. So you can buy them for $15 for Saturday and Sunday only from 12 to 4.
And what is happening on Thursday?
Kids-A-Palooza. We have Battle of the Bands going and carnival rides.
Okay.
So, and then during the weekend, Christine will talk about entertainment, but we have 16 food vendors.
Yes.
And more crafters than we had last year. We tripled our crafters from last year. So we have a pretty good variety there. So just come out and have a good time.
And how many food vendors did you say?
16.
16.
Yes,
Wonderful.
2 more from last year.
Wonderful.
That's great.
Your whole group has been working so hard on this
We're,
since the day the last
yeah.
event ended.
Yeah. And Christine's going to talk about sponsorship and bands.
Okay, well, we have a lot of local businesses as well as other sponsors that are really helping to support us. Obviously, Westmont Auto Mile is a big contributor, and we have in-town businesses that help us out with the property agreements, as well as the village, the Westmont Park District. So it's really a collective effort that comes together. In addition, all of our volunteers that sign up. So we are doing volunteer registration right now. There are hard copies of our volunteer forms at Village Hall, at Westmont Center, the Park District, the library. We also have links online to our volunteer forms. So we have a new online form. You can actually just type it in and shoot it over to us, and then we'll call back to confirm the time slot that you want to volunteer for. And in addition, we have secured all of our entertainment for the weekend. Our lineup is Friday, we have Hot Rocks, which is a Rolling Stone tribute. It's Rolling Stone's 50th anniversary, so we thought we'd kick off the entertainment with that. And that is followed by High Infidelity. On Saturday, we have 3 bands on the main stage. We're going to kick off with Vinyl Highway, followed by North of 8, which is going to do a Pink Floyd tribute, and very wide-ranging local favorite Seventh Heaven is going to be joining us on Saturday night. On Sunday, we'll have our Muddy Waters Open Mic Blues Jam from noon to 4, and that will be followed by our Battle of the Bands winner will open up for our headline act on Sunday. And this year we've switched it up a little bit, and it's not necessarily a blues band, but we are going to have the Blues Brothers. And they're coming out with the Bluesmobile and a great, I think it's like a 10-piece band. So it should be very exciting on Sunday evening for that. And volunteer, and we have all kinds of other things set up. We have a petting zoo on Sunday. We're going to have Battle of the Bands Thursday, Friday, Saturday evening in the youth tent. We'll have free tattoos for the kids, balloons, free face painting, lots of activities that we're still scheduling on the youth stage. So plenty of family fun to come out that we'll be having there.
Do you know when your new promotional video is going to start airing?
Within hours.
I got a chance to preview it this afternoon. I thought it was really, really good.
We are just working on uploading it possibly this evening to YouTube, and then we'll be putting the links on our website. You'll be able to access it from YouTube, and it is very fun.
It's so cute and so well done.
And I will just quickly mention Cruising Nights again. I know we've talked about it a couple times. We do have a full lineup of weekly themes. Runs from 6 to 9. Every week is live band, kids activities. We have some radio station promos coming up. The K-Love radio station will be joining us for 4 events throughout the summer, and they're also going to be doing a canned food drive. I believe that's happening the 3rd Thursday of every month. And the donations are going to go to People's Resource Center here locally. They'll also be doing a toy drive on Fire Truck Night, which is July 26th, and those donations are also going to People's Resource Center. So we have a great connection there for those promotions. And finally, just in case everyone is not aware, Arts in the Park. The first events are happening on June 20th and June 27th. They are doing a combination of concerts as well as 2 movie nights this year, and PVPN also doing the summer park performance in August. So those dates are posted, I'm sure, both on the Park District website as well as Westmont events.
That's it. Sounds wonderful.
What's going on?
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you again for all you have done and will continue to do. Any comments from board members? They're waiting for your comments.
Can't wait. 1 month from today, we'll all be out there.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming in. Next, our attorney, Anne Marie Perez.
I don't have anything to report. I just want to wish all the fathers a happy Father's Day this weekend.
Okay, thank you. Our village manager, Ron Searle.
Thank you. Just a couple of things I want to mention. The first one's kind of a teaser. Next week, myself, our finance director, Spencer Parker, and our safety coordinator, Mike Chorney, are going to be attending the board meeting for our self-insurance pool, IRMA. We were notified this week that we once again won one of their very significant awards. And I asked them a little bit about the history of that, and in the 15 years that this award has been given, we have won it about a third of the time. with this particular winning. I won't say anything more about the award until we actually have it in hand and we can invite some of our employees that are so actively involved in our safety effort to come to make a presentation on that. But I just think it's really, really impressive to note that we've won it about a third of the time that they've had the award out there. The other thing I wanted to mention is that we announced today that our joint effort with Downers Grove has been very productive in terms of selecting an electrical supplier. As some of the board members may be aware from correspondence, we had narrowed it down to 4 producing companies. They were First Energy, Integris, MC Squared, and SNE/Exelon. And the low bidder this week was First Energy. We estimate that on average, and this is an average across both Downers Grove and Westmont, the new rate that will take effect this summer will save approximately $350 on a resident's annual electric bill. And it represents about a 42% savings over the current rates that are under, that most people are paying under the current supplier through ComEd. Again, we want to reiterate that this is only a savings on the supply portion of the bill only. There is a rate there associated with the delivery that still goes to Commonwealth Edison. But we're very excited about how well this turned out. And we really do feel like the partnership was beneficial in getting this very significant discount. Our next step is we're working with First Energy to put together the opt-out notification that we have to provide to residents, and that'll probably be going out in the next couple of weeks. Residents will get a letter. Most likely it'll be a letter with the mayor's signature on it explaining the program, what their options are. There'll be a card in that mailing in which if they want to opt out and they want to stay with Commonwealth Edison or they want to negotiate their own rate with someone else, all they got to do is check that card and send that back in. So people are not obligated to go with this program, but based on the savings, we think it's a really wonderful opportunity for the residents. So I just wanted to report that to the board, and as I said, the rate savings will take place sometime later this summer. I don't have an exact date yet. And
Ron, do you have any idea what the percentage of savings will be per household?
It's on average about 42%, and it's a 2-year contract.
No, on their electric bill.
That's correct. Yeah.
On their electric bill.
Mm-hmm.
After all these other expenses are.
That's just on the supply, the actual electrical supply portion of it.
Okay.
So the bill itself might not go down 42%, but the supply portion
portion of it will.
Some will be lower, some will be higher.
Yeah, it's an average, and it's based across both community statistics that we
That's
put
pretty
together.
You know what that is?
That's really good.
What that average is?
You mean the actual price?
The commercials that we hear on the radio sometimes is going to save you 17% on your electric bill.
Approximately $350 annually.
Okay.
And the rate that we've signed for is 4.75 cents per kilowatt. The other thing I forgot to mention is when we did our pre-selection, we looked at the renewable energy certificate price versus just the best savings we could possibly get. And based on that analysis, we determined that it was really not significant. The difference in cost for a typical residential customer would have been about $8 a year. So based on that relatively insignificant difference, both us and Downers Grove decided we would go with 100% renewable energy certificates, which again, and I've mentioned this before, I think also fits nicely with one of the recommendations that we have in our ad hoc climate committee report that we received a couple years ago.
Ron, when you're working on the opt-out portion and stuff, being that it's going to be hitting people during the summer and vacations. Make sure we have a nice long distance for them to be able to opt out, not just a short week or two, because some people may miss that mail till they get home from their vacation.
Yes, we'll definitely work with a consultant on that.
I appreciate that.
And that's all I have.
Thank you. Trustee items, I'd like to start with Trustee Scott.
Thank you, sir. The last board meeting, I made a comment that when we were talking about the coffee shops, that we only had one left open in the town out of the 4, and of course that was incorrect. That wasn't my intention at all. I know we have 3 coffee shops in the immediate downtown area. One is La La Lee, which opens at 8 o'clock in the morning, La Petite, which opens at 9 o'clock in the morning, and Brewed Awakening, which opens at 5 a.m. My intention was to show that Brewed Awakening was the one that was opening the earliest, and the other 2, due to traffic flow, opened later on. It wasn't like when we had 4 coffee shops that were all opened up very early. So I want to apologize for any confusion that might have caused anybody, and that wasn't my intention. I think if anybody's been watching the meetings, they know my intention is to protect the businesses that we have here in town. And I think that's all I've got for tonight. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Trustee Seneca.
Thank you. Just want to also wish everyone a happy Father's Day, and especially thank our police and fire personnel and all of the people in Westmont that end up working on those Sundays and are taken away from their families. So for all those dads out there that'll be working on our behalf, thank you very much. And also very much looking forward to back to the 80s. So I hope we see a lot of people out there. And just to echo what Ginny said, get out there and enjoy cruising nights and the fresh market. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Nero.
Sure, thank you. First, I just want to notify everybody that the Building and Zoning and Code Enforcement Committee meeting will be this Monday, the 18th, at 6 p.m. in the executive session room. And next, I just want to make sure everybody knows that the Village of Westmont's new website is live. It was a lot of work. I wanted to thank Ron and Glenn and Larry and Spencer and everybody that's on the committee and Carrie. I think it's an awesome website. It's fantastic, a lot better than what we had, and I think
It's still in progress.
Still work in progress. So if you have any suggestions, please let us know and let everybody know, because it's only going to get better, and it's really exciting. So that's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you. Trustee Klebanow.
I just want to wish everybody, all the dads out there, a happy Father's Day this Sunday. Hope you have good weather, and even happy Father's Days for the dads-to-be, because there's a lot of them out there. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Trustee Fleming.
Nothing this evening, thank you.
Okay. Moving right along, unfinished business. 18 West Quincy. Biddy Commuter Train Station, Downtown Development Permit. Or to consider ordinances approving the following requests for the Westmont Cafe at the commuter station at 18 West Quincy. A, an ordinance approving a B1 Business District Development Permit, and B, an ordinance approving a license agreement for use of the space within the commuter train station. We have a request through the manager and the staff to postpone this item.
Actually, the petitioner notified us earlier this week that they requested that we could postpone it for another set of meetings.
There's still a lot of discussion going on, and this will be dealt with at a later date. Thank you. Next item, 389 North Cass. ComEd variance request. Board to consider an ordinance approving an ordinance granting a zoning code variance to ComEd to allow an increased fence site in the R4 residence district.
Staff is actually asking on this item if we could postpone this at least to the next set of meetings. It might be the set after that. There were a number of questions that were raised at the last meeting. I know one of the questions was whether or not there was a special use permit ever issued for the property. Our research to date has concluded that because of the age of the property, it really does predate our zoning code, so we don't believe that that is the case. But we have been looking at our franchise agreement. We've been in conversation with Commonwealth Edison. We do have a couple representatives here this evening, but we told them ahead of time we would be asking for postponement of this. We would like to continue our research and finalize a couple issues that we feel are outstanding, and then we'd like to have some discussions with the staff from Commonwealth Edison before we bring this back to the board. So it may actually be the set after this next coming meetings.
Okay. Any questions? Moving right along.
We're going to postpone it on Monday night.
A motion to postpone.
Motion to postpone.
Motion to postpone it also, yeah. Next item. Consent agenda. Board to consider an ordinance creating a consent agenda section. The village board meeting agendas.
This was asked to be continued at the last Monday meeting because we were missing some board members. I don't know if there's a whole lot more discussion at this point. I know that one of the board members that was mentioned that might have some input is not here this evening, but will be here Monday evening. And I know that the village attorney had made a change to the original ordinance based on some dialogue that occurred at that last set of meetings. So I don't know that we have anything more to add this evening.
I did talk to Trustee Klevina on the way in the building, and I think she indicated that she wasn't here during the first discussion, and she would like to make some comments.
Thank you. I did extensive research since I didn't get a chance to speak at the last committee of the whole. I wasn't, and I'm still not excited over a consent agenda. I went through several different types of consent agendas. I went on the internet. I pulled up all different information on there. Some of them are conflicting. Some say that there's no such thing as a simple question, that the moment you have to ask a question, or possibly if you have minutes in there, do a correction, you have to ask it to be removed. Others in there say, oh, yeah, you can ask just a question or two. So I just was researching a lot about it. So then I started going into towns. I saw the schools, and by the way, I do like the Hinsdale Township School Board agenda. It is really, really nice. I suggest people go in. I've been learning a lot by this research. Instead of getting an entire packet, they have links just for that particular thing, so you don't have to download an entire thing if you just want to know something about a particular item on the agenda. And I'm thinking that...
Actually, if I could interrupt you, I think that's a feature that you'll begin to see with our new website.
I mentioned it to Glenn. I was hoping to see that because with the new tablet, it's going to be difficult to be pulling and switching, so I kind of like the idea, and I was going to suggest if we
That is a different
thinking of
product. I think it's a product called Board Docs, which also District 201 uses.
They have
but
that, yeah.
I understand our new website has some feature capabilities similar to that.
Well, then I decided, since school boards and stuff are not exactly like us, I went into City of Darien, Downers Grove, and even Clareton Hills, and yes, they all have consent agendas. But the big thing I noticed on some of them is not one of them has a committee of the whole where they sit there and discuss it on Thursday and vote on it another day. These are for meetings that have been combined. And some of them are really strange, where they literally open the meeting and then they go into committee meetings, which I haven't figured out. It only takes 15 minutes, but they go into these committee meetings to discuss things. And then they come out and say, well, these things are going to be on the consent agenda. They're already pre-planned, but I guess they discuss them in another room or something.
And again, I'm sorry to keep you interrupting, but in some of those cases, too, they use, and we've talked about this a little bit before, the idea of a first, second, third reading of items.
Yeah, I was going to mention
that gives the board more opportunity for discussion.
But then some of them are waiving them. Downers waives a lot of the first and second readings, which I'm not certain is open and honest government either, if you're going to have it. So some of their items can take almost a month before they actually vote on them, because they have to have the first or second reading. They bring it up at one meeting, and then, if they agree on it. It's just very strange, but I don't find any of these towns anywhere like we hold our meetings. So I think I'm still absolutely against it. As long as we can, I would still prefer not to have a consent agenda. I think we're open and honest. We explain everything. We discuss everything with the public. And the only thing, and even Darian literally said, the mayor before, when they do a consent agenda, before they vote on it, she discusses everything on the consent agenda. So you might as well just discuss it as a board.
She just reads what's on it.
Well, she reads it, but I mean, that's all we're doing, basically. It's a simple thing. We read, and if we have no discussions, we go on. So I don't think we're saving a tremendous amount of time. And if you do the consent agenda, as it says in the record, you have to make the announcement before. You have to ask the board if there's anything they want off. You go through actually another procedure. By the time you add those steps because of a consent agenda, I think you're doing an injustice. And then when it came to the minutes, they all said you actually have to list everything again. You can't just name something. You have to go through a description or a list and show the vote separately and stuff. So I'm still not for it. I was hoping that I would feel more comfortable with it if I, checked other towns and stuff. But because their meetings are so different than how we're constructed here, I still feel that I don't think we're going to save any time going through it. So I still would prefer to leave out the consent agenda and just continue the way we have been. Thank you.
Does our clerk wish to respond?
Well, no, I
Anyway.
think that consent agendas make sense. It just, there are so many things we do that is just the same thing over and over and over and again. And it would just save time on those items. That's all. We're just trying to save time on items that are discussed year in and year out.
Okay.
We're not trying to hide anything. In fact, when we went down for the legislative clerks meeting, they were amazed how much information is on our agendas. We're not the ones they're worried about, not being completely transparent, because we put everything on there.
Well, and plus, if something's controversial, it can come off. It
Yeah,
won't
we're
be
not
allowed to
gonna
go
put
on there.
anything
And if
controversial
anybody
on
is,
there.
what is it, 2 or more trustees, or the mayor and 1 trustee, I believe we could pull off one of the items on there.
One person, according to this, just one person doesn't want it on there, it comes off.
Then it comes off, which is
But
great.
then it's not the same, and we're not comparing apples and
Well, it's
oranges. When you're
definitely not the
comparing us
same,
with
no.
other towns, we're not even close to what the other towns are doing.
No,
I think
they're all doing
Downers
consent
has
agenda.
19-page minutes because they literally record everybody who comes. I don't know if they record their meeting. I'm presuming they're recording their meeting. But their minutes, this last set of minutes, June 5th, I think it was 19 pages because of a hot topic in there. But everything was in there, everything a trustee or their alderman or whatever they're called in there, they're in there, every word by word, everybody says is in there. So, you can't miss it on a consent agenda, but I'm not comfortable, and nothing I read about it makes it. And I did read in there, for a training thing, it says, if one person is not comfortable with it, then they don't recommend a board doing it. So, and I am not comfortable. And if anybody wants to look over the research, they're very welcome to it. So, no, I'm not comfortable with consent agendas. You're not saving time. By the time you go through the announcement, you might have 3 things. What are you going to put? Every time I find a mistake in the minutes, I got to ask it to be pulled. Every time I find a mistake in something, I have to ask it to be pulled. You're losing time. You just go through the items like we've been. It takes no time. Voting nights take, 15 minutes? If you
I know,
don't
and we
have
get paid for those a lot of money.
It doesn't matter. What are you trying to do? Cut it down to 5 minutes? So, and not only that, if you want to do it, it literally says that you shouldn't even be doing promoting your people and honoring your volunteers. It says your meetings are important. Find some other way of doing it. That's what it says when you look under consent agendas. They say, to cut meetings shorter. You're not even supposed to be bringing people here. We shouldn't even have the fresh market people here if you think our meetings are so long. And that's what it says in these things. So, no, I'm 100% against a consent agenda. Now, if we combined our meetings for Thursday, which we've already gone through, Thursday and Monday, where it could be longer, that's fine. But that means people will have to wait, the people who come to the podium will have to wait 2 weeks or more, or 3 weeks if it's the second half of the month, before they actually get voted on. Because we have to have it open, or we have to have readings like other towns do. We're not doing the readings. We're discussing on Thursday. We're voting on Monday, which is a lot faster than a lot of these towns push things through.
I still think it's a good idea. I mean, I understand all of Pat's points, and I understand where she's coming from, but when you look at the efficiency, and I think when we do move to a consent agenda, if we do, it'll give us even more time for things such as, our wonderful volunteers and employee recognition and things like that. The things that are, very important, and the things that we'd be bulking together are very mundane things that, just throw them in. And on nights of a long agenda, I beg to differ. That will save time. We should be combining every single meeting as it is. I mean, to be paid $100 for 15 minutes is criminal. So I really would like to see us do it. But your points are all well taken. I totally understand where you're coming from. I just respectfully disagree with it.
Yeah, and I understand too, Pat. I also see the advantages of it, first of all, and I see the benefits that we could take anything off if we want. I mean, it doesn't have to be on there every time. So I think that advantage is great. And I also think that having a consent agenda is promoting efficient operation of government. And that's something I know I'm for, and I'm sure everybody else on this board is. So to be against it, I understand the transparency argument, but if anything controversial comes up, it comes off. So, and if someone has an issue on something else, they bring it up to us, we can take it off. I just think, and maybe it's best to ask Ron how he feels this will affect staff time, if he thinks it's an approach to, like saving time, as Trustee Klebanow thinks it won't. I personally think it will.
I'm not sure. Having not done it, I can't say for sure how it might affect. I don't think it's going to be significant. I do want to point out that we still have the provision to combine meetings. In fact, this probably would have been a really good one to combine, except for the fact that we had 3 items that were kind of carried over, and because of the nature of those items, I didn't feel it was something we'd want to try to combine. So we still have that provision in there. It's hard to say at this point. I think if we have clear guidelines, it's a matter of putting the agenda together, and I don't think it's going to affect staff one way or the other. I also am a little hesitant, too, because we're also about to embark on using a whole new system to put our agendas and packets together. And, we've gotten comfortable with the one we're using now, and I can't say what that's going to be like yet because we haven't done one yet. Our plan is to do the next agenda using the new system, but we're also going to do it the old way too. So we're going to do at least parallel once or twice to see how it works. So I don't have an opinion one way or the other. This wasn't something that we as staff brought up. I know we've talked about this again in the past. It is something that is used in many communities. I don't really think it's going to affect our time one way or the other. But, what may in the short term affect our time is this whole transition to a new preparation system.
It's not written in stone. It's not something that can't be adjusted. Once we started to our
if you wanted
needs.
to try it, you could do that, and you could
always change.
Change it. I mean, it's not permanent.
Exactly.
Nothing's written in stone, so it's worth a shot, I think.
I agree.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think everybody, if we find it wasn't working, we'd be quick to say, this isn't working,
Any other comments, board members?
Thank you.
Okay. Moving right along, new business. Independence Day celebration. Special events request. Board to consider an ordinance approving the following requests. A, an amplified sounds permit request. B, special events traffic plan using various one-ways. And C, street closures around Ty Warner Park, 6:30 a.m. to 10:30, or until the public has dispersed after the fireworks display. Before I ask the chief to make his comments, I would just like to say, judging from last year and how everything worked and flowed afterwards, it was all done very, very well, very efficiently. And I'm sure that it's going to be exactly the same this year. As you know, we have the best fireworks in the area, and more people are coming to
Probably a mistake.
You are display.
We, Mary, you hit some very key points. We had over 10,000 people come to Ty Park, come to our community from all over the area. And it's a family event that's unparalleled that I've seen in my career and in my community, to have over 10,000 people in there and a minimal of problems and traffic. You can go to other areas and go see fireworks display, and you're sitting in traffic for a half hour to an hour afterwards. By 45 minutes after the last fireworks goes off, the area is cleared. And we take a lot of pride in that. It is one of the better fireworks displays I've seen in the area, and I think that's borne out by the response from the public that comes. I'm here on behalf of tonight for Ron Gunther, Director of the Park District, and Larry McIntyre, the WSAC. And the one point that we all should recognize is that this would not be possible without the assistance and the financial support of the Westmont Auto Mile. Westmont Auto Mile pays for those fireworks. And in our troubling economy, a lot of other towns have cut fireworks because they couldn't afford it. And without the support of the Westmont Auto Mile, we probably would maybe be looking at the same thing, but we don't have that. We have the excellent display because of their support. This is a combined venture from the Westmont Auto Mile, Village of Westmont, and the Westmont Park District. Westmont Park District puts on the majority of the events, and you'll see here the events will start at 4 o'clock. Where they will have food vendors. They will have beer and food vendors available. They have kids crafts. They have the petting zoo. They have the Westmont Community Band. They have face painting, kids games relays, the barnyard bingo, and that's something you just have to go and see for itself. And they will have balloon sculptors, cake while supplies last, and the Mr. and Mrs. Firecrackers Award for the newest newborn, Uncle Sam's Family Award, and a watermelon eating contest, Grand Avenue Big Bands, and then the fireworks display. Fireworks start at 9:30, and again, this is every year, and they usually end by 10 o'clock, by about 5 to 10 o'clock they're ending, and we encourage everybody to come out. Again, this is a combined effort from the Village of Westmont, Westmont Park District, who takes on the majority of the work, but again, the financial support from the Westmont Auto Mile. As mentioned in the board action sheet or the agenda, I would like to discuss briefly the traffic flow pattern, which is the same as every year with one minor change, or I guess very big important change. Every year we hear more and more from the public there's not enough handicap parking, and handicap parking needs to be either increased or improved. And so handicap parking will be available if you come up to Cass Avenue, which is here, come up to Chestnut. There is a office complex there. You can park in there. Park District will have a 4-person and a 6-person golf cart or a cart to transport you from this area to the park for the fireworks display. And this year, staff has made the recommendation we increase the handicap parking. So where before this used to be mixed handicap and regular parking, it will now just be only all handicap parking, which will be on Chestnut Drive, just east of Burr Oak. And that will be indicated by signage, and we will be enforcing that, where before, again, that just be combined parking is now together. The traffic flow around Ty Park is restricted starting at around 6 o'clock. We go from a counterclockwise direction around the park, a clockwise direction around the park, so traffic will flow this way. However, at around 9 o'clock, when we start getting into the fireworks displays in this area is closed off, so no traffic will be allowed south on Black Hawk Drive. Everyone is encouraged to park in the area, get there early. I know I can tell you the crowd starts showing up around 8:30 and parking becomes scarce probably around 7 o'clock. However, the junior high and high school parking is available, and also allows you easy exit as well. You're not fighting the traffic around the park. You can hit Oakwood Drive, you can go up to 35th Street and exit the area, or go down to Ogden Avenue and exit the area. And we try to get that area cleared out as fast, as quickly as well too. So again, the park, you talk about a clockwise flow around the park. Will be one way all the way around. We're asking for that traffic pattern to be approved, as well as the parking areas. And hope to, again, everybody come out 9:30. Lights go off at 9:30. Fireworks start right then and there, and it's a fantastic time. A safe, fun, free family event.
It is a great event.
Is that really supposed to say 6 a.m.?
No, it probably should be 6 p.m. I'll talk to my sergeant about typos.
We're just checking.
And Chief, you just mentioned a safe event, and I say this every year, and I'm going to continue to say it every year for as long as I'm in Westmont. Just a reminder that sparklers are illegal in Westmont.
Yes.
And from the time our children learn to walk, we teach them the word hot. We say, don't go by the stove. It's hot, it's hot, it's hot. And then we hand them a 1,200-degree sparkler that's very pretty but also very dangerous. So please, everyone, just kind of keep that in mind.
We will be there, and again, we're not, in this case, we're not going to be arresting everyone with sparklers. We ask for compliance. If we get non-compliance, then we move up. Fire department is standing out there. The fire department is on standby. They will be there as well. They have medics around the area as well. It's a very close team effort. We just had a meeting with the fire department, EMA. I can't forget to thank them as well for our volunteers. They're fantastic. And with the sparklers, again, yes, it's not the time for this. Fireworks are also illegal. Make sure you only use, and this is not the setting for any type of fireworks because it's just so many people. But again, fireworks, make sure you're using only legal fireworks. If you have to go to Indiana to buy fireworks and bring them back, they're probably not legal in Illinois. So we ask that you keep that in mind as well, and that again, everybody come and have a fun, free night. I'm done.
Good. Nice job. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Independence Day celebration. Special event liquor license fee waiver request. Board to consider an ordinance waiving the special events liquor license fee for the Westmont Park District for the 4th of July celebration.
This is an annual request and something that the village has done in the past.
Questions?
I see it's still covered with the Lions Club, the liability insurance.
Yes, I believe the Park District is actually going to be selling the alcohol this year, but they're going to be using Lions Club's liability insurance.
Lions are also selling.
Selling, okay.
I'm not into insurance legally. Is there any problem with that? Okay.
There was one thing I did notice on that. The Park District's certificate of benefits, I believe it's the last piece of paper in the packet, it indicates that it is in connection with operations at the Park District Fitness Center and the Twin Lake Golf Course. It doesn't have any other locations available for it.
I thought they were using the Lions liquor license for that.
Well, that's what it shows on the one certificate of liability.
There is the certificate of liability insurance that is for the Westmont Lions Club, but if you turn that page over, the next one about the certificate of benefits from the Park Association Risk Services, it's not, the Park District does not cover the location.
I believe in the past, if I've done this, they'll go down to the state of Illinois and get a special liquor license, and it'll be specific to that location, which will be Ty Park. And I believe our special events or special liquor license as well will be specific to Ty Park. But yeah, the Park District does have 2 liquor licenses, one at Twin Lakes Park and one at the Health Corps. Those are current for their day-to-day operations. But I believe when they go to the state and get ours, it's specific to Ty Park.
But I'm just wondering if their certificate of risk benefits would cover that special events as well, though, because it
That I
doesn't
don't know.
indicate that on this policy.
I can check with Ron Gunther.
You're talking about liability coverage for the park itself for the event, not the liquor.
The risk services liability to cover secondary, is my understanding, is what that would be. The primary is the certificate of liability insurance for the from the Westmont Lions Club. Secondary is the Park District's, and that it has liquor liability listed, but only at certain locations.
So would they have to have a liquor liability for Ty Park even though they're using?
If we wanted to have that secondary, yes.
Coverage.
Okay.
I mean, there is a primary there on the Lions Club.
Do we require a secondary?
We don't, but they actually attach.
So they just added that?
Yeah.
I don't know that we've ever even discussed the question of secondary in the
Yeah.
past for these types of events.
It was
You're
part of
just
the packet.
saying-
It was just something that I noticed. I just wanted to make everybody
catch.
aware of that.
Yeah.
I'll talk with the director tomorrow and, get any clarification he might have to offer, but
Would it be then something that they really should take out, then? They don't want that attached to the primary? Because it makes it look like there's a secondary? You don't want a secondary then?
Right, if we're not going to have the ability to use that policy in the event it's needed.
So it shouldn't have been put in the packet?
Probably not, unless they're going to actually have an addendum to that policy for a special event that they obtain that license for.
Interesting. Okay.
Any other questions? Next, I would like to call Steve May, our Public Works Director, forward. Resolution for improvement by the municipality under the Illinois Highway Code. Board to consider an IDOT resolution for the village's 2012 MFT resurfacing project. MFT number 12-00103-00-RS. I see our Public Works has some nice new looking shirts
Oh, yeah.
being
Found
displayed.
it in the closet. Thank you. This resolution, this is a small, well, it's our annual street resurfacing program. This is a smaller program than we discussed when we were during the budget process. We talked about a much bigger program to catch up on the needs across town. That discussion we've agreed to postpone until the fall for potentially be effective in 2013. This project is about 2.5 miles worth of local streets, and the resolution is, this isn't a contract, this is simply the resolution where you're acknowledging you're encumbering the $900,000 in motor fuel taxes to be applied towards this project.
Okay, great. Any questions?
Nope.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item, administrative changes to Chapter 18 of the Municipal Code.
Thank
Or
you.
to consider an ordinance approving amendments to the Municipal Code, Chapter 18, buildings and building regulations.
Thank you. This item's come before the board twice previously in committee on March 19th and April 2nd. The document that's included in your packet materials this evening incorporates all of the changes that were recommended as a part of those meetings. Just by way of background for those that are in the audience and viewing at home, staff had undertaken an extensive review of the municipal code pertaining to our building permits, fees, and permit regulations. One of the intentions in doing that was to try to simplify the language. We've received feedback from developers, the public, that some of the language is confusing. Sometimes staff even has had trouble trying to calculate permit fees because the schedule is just really in-depth and detailed, and it's not user-friendly. So to the credit of Code Enforcement Officer Vicki Senesak, I'd like to commend her for all of the hard work that she's put into this draft document. The village attorney has reviewed it, and she's here to help answer any technical questions.
Going once. Going twice.
Just a very quick synopsis of what you've done.
We basically, like Shannon said, we basically just kind of made it a more user-friendly document and took out some of the language in the administrative portions of the ordinance that were redundant or that were contradicted in other portions of the code. We didn't make any changes to the technical international codes yet. That would be next to come.
This was a huge undertaking.
Yes, the work goes back quite a long ways, and again, kudos to Vicki for everything that she's put into it.
So have we resolved the problem in here then that if you want to put your own faucet in, we don't have to run in for a building permit, I hope? But is there anything in here? I've been thumbing through and I haven't found it yet. We need permits
it's in the International Energy Code.
We need a permit for window replacement. Is it in here?
Yeah, no, that's the international codes that we have to adopt per the state of Illinois.
By reference.
That's not in this.
Right.
Oh,
We have to
okay.
adopt it by reference.
So are they still supposed to come in though and get a permit?
It's 2 layers of code. So these are our municipal regulations, and then we adopt the code series from the International Code Council by reference. So that's a series of texts. There are a half dozen or more dealing with different details of construction, and we mention those by reference in the local ordinances, but these are just the ins and outs where we've made amendments and other procedural things, in terms of issuing permits, fee structure. I don't know if I'm missing anything. If you want to
Certificates
jump
of
in.
occupancy, expiration dates of permits, documents you need to get permits, that kind of thing.
Okay. So
We're not doing any technical changes to the actual
Well, I just didn't know if there
codes
was,
themselves.
if you still want them to come in to get a permit, I just don't know how they're gonna know they have to come in and get a permit if there is nothing in our code to tell them that they gotta come to the building department for a permit. That's all I'm saying. It's, whether it's in another.
Energy code has some exemptions in it. I'm sorry I don't have a copy with me. I thought we talked about it at the last meeting.
Okay, well, if it's not there, I just not gonna blame anybody if they don't come in and get a permit, because if
It
it's.
ultimately falls on the state of Illinois. They adopted it. So they're going to be making us adopt the 2012 at the end of the year anyway, so.
Okay.
Who knows what
Trustee
that's going to
Klebanow,
say.
if you look at, like, for example, section 18-61, it talks about adoption of code, and in that section specifically, we state that the village is adopting the building code. The village's building code is actually the Code Council, the International Code Council's code. And then thereafter, there are local amendments to that, because the International Code book for buildings, they'll have blank things for like name of village, et cetera, like that, things like that. And we need to add those things in. Those are our local amendments. So you really have to look at the actual International Code Council buildings book before you can actually look at our
So
local
basically, there's no way
amendments
for our residents to know that they need to come in for a building permit, is what I'm saying. If we don't have anything here in our code, because they're gonna come to them, not to Illinois, for a permit, correct? They're supposed to come into our building department. But if we don't have anything to say that they gotta come to our building department for a
The
permit.
adoption of the code by reference, that code tells them that they have to go in for a building permit.
So we
and the best suggestion is always just to call the building department if you're
And I
going to do
think on our
something on your
website,
home.
If they go to the building division portion of the community development department, there's a page on there that tells them the types of permits that are needed.
Right.
On the
On
website.
where?
On the website.
As we're building it out, we're adding more information, so it may not
Okay,
be there in
so-
its present iteration, but it's.
But it will be in
Yes.
the, okay,
Yes.
okay. I just, if it's not easy, if it's not user-friendly, they're not going to go to Illinois website to go figuring out if they have to have a permit from Westmont.
And unfortunately, the default answer is, whatever it is, it probably does need a permit, and it's just a matter of calling and checking with one of us to see, what our local requirements are.
Maybe we could do a checklist saying these things need permit.
Well, that's, I think, what
Maybe
Vicki's
this
alluding
tall.
to on the webpage. There's always going to be something, though, that,
So if you want
Isn't
to do
an op-
anything to your home, check with the village.
That would be a good rule of thumb.
yeah.
That's
We haven't had a
safe
problem.
Suggestion,
Okay.
Any further questions?
It's a lot of work.
Thank both of you for
Thank you.
coming in this evening. Next item, Westmont Park District Intergovernmental Agreement. Number 2, consider an ordinance approving an intergovernmental agreement with the Westmont Park District for landscaping maintenance of village properties.
Mayor, this too is something new that we're trying this year. We talked about it also with the budget process. With the ever-expanding properties that we acquire in needs and detention basins, and most recently, for example, the Benenford Detention Basin, we acquire more and more properties that need regular landscape maintenance attention, and with reductions in force, there's less people to do the more work. We were able to keep up with it, but certainly not to a level of service that is worthy or anyone else would do on their own property. So this year, partnering with the Park District, they're better equipped both with equipment and expertise to do these types of services, and not just mowings of detention basins and large tracts of land. They'll also be doing some finer landscape maintenance in and around our public buildings, the Village Hall, the Depot, Westmont Center, and police and fire buildings too, so which would include weed maintenance and things like that. So this is something where this is our first attempt at that. The contract is actually written specifically for 1 year to see if we have to do anything differently at the end of the year, but it does coincide with our budget year, May 1st. And even though we haven't formally adopted the agreement yet, I can tell you they're doing a real good job. They've already taken it on, and it's turning out very well.
Good.
This came up at our Fire Academy meeting last night. The property by the headquarters, the ramp that goes down to the downstairs, meeting room, there's a lot of weeds and stuff. Now, we were trying to decide because we were going to be trying to help the fire department, but we heard that the Park District is now doing it. Are they going to be weeding that area down there and power washing or doing anything down that area?
I don't. Not power washing, but the routine maintenance they're going to do. But in all cases, on all properties, we have to go through one time and do the initial work, and then they do the maintenance. And I say that for like detention basins, we'll go through and clean all the garbage out of it before the first mowing. But each week after that, they'll go, and that much will not be accumulated, so they'll keep up with it. But if there's really a weed problem, we need to get it to a normal condition first, and then they'll maintain it in that.
Okay, because all the plantings down there are nothing but tremendously high weeds growing in with some shrubbery. So we didn't know if that was something that the Fire Academy members were going to try to start weeding out, or if this was something the Park District was going to do.
I would suggest that already. We would need to take that on, and I'll give you a related example is that they came to us with their inspection in Mary Egan Park, and even the existing landscaping in the plaza, and they already have suggestions of how things should be changed, and they're going to give us budget numbers to do some, call it landscape remodeling, so that it is easier to maintain in different types of shrubberies or certain, bushes that are just thoroughly infested with weeds, like maybe they have to come out totally and then, replanted. So I can have them look at that.
Yeah, because we wouldn't mind taking, we were talking about trying to take it over or at least make it look presentable down there until we heard the Park District is now taking over, and so we backed off because we don't know what we can help the fire department.
I would encourage you to do the initial work in it, and then I'm sure they'll take it on. If you want them to do it initially, we'll have to talk to them about it separately.
I don't know if they've looked at it yet, because my last conversation, they had identified kind of the higher profile public buildings, had gone and done those, and then they told me they were moving next to some of the public safety buildings. Have they even looked at it at this point? Do we know?
I have no idea. This is the first I'm hearing about that particular location, so I am unsure.
And how about the property that's by the parking lot that's just south of there, the detention area? Do we own that detention? Do we mow it? Because I saw some massive mowers out there last week, and one of the members, our treasurer, said that was actually DuPage County mowers, and he said they mow it because he said they own the lot, and I'm arguing with him saying, no, we own that lot.
That's all that put together is half right.
Oh.
We own the parcel. We used to mow it. Park District will be mowing it for us. Both IDOT and DuPage County Division of Transportation, because of the expense and the time it takes to haul equipment all the way back to wherever your maintenance building is, they park on that lot, and then they'll just all go back in a pickup truck and then come back in the morning, take their tractors, and then go off to wherever they're doing the mowing.
Oh, so they're just storing their stuff.
They're just parking there with permission, and they park at the street division lot too, and it's just periodically. It's for their efficiency.
But they're not mowing it.
They don't mow it. They're just parked there.
Okay, I didn't think they would be mowing it then. Okay.
So the equipment's not left there all the time. It's just kind of strategically, depending on where they're going to be going.
Right. It's for their, like I said, their efficiency. But that's a great idea. We should make them mow that one for in exchange for
I was going to
parking.
say that,
That should be their rent.
deal time here now, because are they doing anything for us? We're letting them park their stuff.
Getting along with our.
Yeah, just
Others.
let us know, or let Dave know, so the fire department, the academy
I'll
members can.
find out as soon as tomorrow.
No hurry, no
right.
hurry. We
Thank
had
you.
our
Is it
meeting.
the state and the county, or just the county?
This last time it was DuPage County, but I know IDOT parks at our street division lot, and it depends on, like I said, where they're at and what they're doing. But the county more often than the state. But we help out either of them when they need it.
That's nice.
Try to.
Is the
play nice.
progress at Cass and 55th proceeding at a pace that,
I'm told it's on schedule. You know,
You've been-
it's hard to imagine, but but on schedule as we're talking the end of October and November anyway before things are done. And obviously you've seen the temporary traffic signals are in place. So. L'Oreal goes to a progress meeting every week with them, and that'll be tomorrow morning. So in your weekly email update, you'll get a copy of that.
They still do call them progress meetings, right?
It could be lack of progress, but it's whatever the progress is, it'll be defined.
well, I think it's complicated too, because they're, Nicor's putting in a gas line
So,
through there also.
a lot of utility work, and that had been going on, that all started in the winter, and it still continues on. So it is a very extensive project.
It's amazing to me, they're trying to sell that apartment building on the northwest corner. Why now? Who's going to buy that thing now?
Sell to the county.
What I couldn't figure out is they're not bringing those turn lanes into Downers on 55th. They're just doing it from Clarendon Hills through us, and there'll be no left turn lanes. They'll still have that arrow with the 4 lanes. Downers has got no work being done over there. And I can't figure
It's
out.
just a resurfacing from Williams up to Cass. The left turn lanes are only at the widening at Cass, and then it'll still be 4-lane, still going east to Clarendon Hills, and then widening at another intersection.
Right, but I'm saying Fairview and Maine are still going to be 4-lane, no left turn lanes. And I can't figure
That
out
is
why.
not part of this project, but I have, at the DuPage mayors and managers at the transportation committee, I've seen, plans in the works. I mean, it's in the
So they
planning
might be
stage.
doing something
as
later
a separate
down there.
project, yeah.
After we test it out and see
How long
if it
did
works.
this one? I mean, have we been hearing about this for more than a decade?
Yeah.
So
I was just surprised it wouldn't do the entire, turn lanes all the way down through Downers at least, but that's their problem, I guess.
That might be the next project.
Yeah, but all they have is Maine and, well, they have
Yeah.
Fairview, Maine, and Belmont, I guess, yeah. Thank you.
Any other questions? Next, finance ordinance number 4.
Waive the reading.
Request a waiver reading. Purchase orders. Questions on purchase orders?
Sir.
No questions. We do not have a request before us for an executive session this evening.
We do not.
Aware of.
But we do have one other issue that I think Trustee Scott wanted to mention, but we do
Okay.
not have
If
an
we could have Shannon come up and give us a quick update on the comprehensive plan meeting we had this week.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I'm pleased to report that the Comprehensive Plan Steering Committee met on Monday. It was their third working meeting. The planning consultant, Halcyon Levine, presented the goals, vision, and objectives document, which was the culmination of all of the public input that's taken place to date, especially the workshop that took place January 19th, which we had a really great turnout for. They also presented the 4 sub-area plans, and we discussed the draft documents. The next phase will be they will prepare the full draft of the entire plan and then bring that back to our 4th CPAC meeting. I anticipate that'll be somewhere in a 4 to 6 week window. And then once all of the details are fleshed out there, it'll be presented in another series of public meetings. It'll have to go to the Planning and Zoning Commission. I would say we're probably just after the halfway point, but we're getting there. So everything's moving along very nicely. And I don't know if Trustee Scott or if anyone else that was at that meeting may have any comments to add.
It's a great group to work with.
Absolutely.
Very fortunate for everybody that's on that committee. Good suggestions, and House of Levine's a great company to work with, and
Top
they're
notch.
always willing to listen.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? With that in mind, I would accept a motion for adjournment at this time.
Second, Scott.
Roll call.
Trustee Seneca?
Yes.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Trustee Fleming?
Yes.
Trustee Scott?
Yes.
Trustee Klebanow?
Yes.
Thank you. This meeting stands adjourned.